Thank you, Ainsley, and good morning. The man accused of killing Charlie Kirk making his first court appearance. It was brief. Prosecutors laying out a bunch of evidence that includes text messages that appear to show a confession. So it's midweek, live back in New York City. Dana's got the week off. I'm Bill Hemmer, and welcome to our program today, and welcome back, Aisha, to you.
Thank you. Good to be with you again. I'm Aisha Hasmi, and this is America's Newsroom. Prosecutors announced that they will seek the death penalty against suspect Tyler Robinson in the killing of Charlie Kirk. And Utah prosecutors formally charged him with more than half a dozen counts, and they include aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, and witness tampering. So
authorities also releasing alleged text messages between the suspect and his roommate, of which there were many that were read yesterday. Here is part of that. Give it a listen.
Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I'm sorry. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence.
Paul Morrow is here, but first let's go to Garrett Tenney. He is reporting live from Spanish Fork, Utah. Good morning, Garrett.
Aisha, good morning to you. Based on those text messages, the alleged assassin appears to have believed that he could get away with this. In fact, at one point, he wrote, "I had hoped to keep this secret until I died of old age." During his first court appearance, the 22-year-old was wearing a special suicide prevention vest, and he showed no emotion as the judge read through the 7 charges against him. The only time he spoke was to confirm his name. Just before that hearing, we learned a lot more details about the investigation, including that the accused killer said he had been planning the assassination for a little over a week, and that investigators found the accused shooter's DNA on the trigger of the rifle, a rifle that originally belonged to his grandfather. The Utah County Attorney also shared what happened when the suspect's parents confronted him about the shooting before convincing their son to turn himself in.
Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate.
The suspect didn't elaborate on what issues he was referring to when he said Charlie was spreading hate, but his mother told investigators her son had become more political and supportive of gay and transgender rights in recent years, which prompted me to ask the Utah County Attorney this.
Mr. Gray, Garrett Tenney with Fox News. Do you have any indication that transgender issues played a role in the motivations for this shooter?
I'm going to stick to what I just stated in my public, in our information. I think that is pretty much set forth there.
We have not seen any indication from prosecutors or investigators that the suspect has shown any kind of remorse. In fact, shortly after assassinating Charlie Kirk, the accused killer texted his lover saying, "Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine." His next court date is September 29th, and prosecutors say they are not ruling out the possibility of bringing additional charges against him. Aisha?
Okay, Garrett Tenney live for us in Utah. Garrett, thank you.
So Paul Morrow's with us in studio. You've been out to Utah, back with us now, watching yesterday. We talked at great length yesterday afternoon. I get the sense that this accused killer was of clear mind. If these text messages are legitimate, he said, if I get the rifle, I'll leave no evidence. He said, delete this exchange. He said, don't talk to the media. If any police ask questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. That's a clear thinking human being, in my view.
Unquestionably, yeah. You can see that there's the planning that reportedly is about a week going into it, and then this meticulous plan that he follows. He very clearly thought it all out, but then even subsequent to the event, which he seems to have executed the way he expected to, he then takes all of these evasive maneuvers to get away, to include dumping the gun in a place that he thought was going to be a drop point, then getting to the roommate by text in a forum that he thought was going to be safe in Discord, giving that instruction, planning to go back, waiting for the cops to be clear, all of that speaks to the fact, exactly as you're saying, he's speaking with a clear mind. He doesn't have a mental defect. The bar is high for an insanity plea in Utah. The fact that he was operating at such a high level, I would argue pretty much takes that off the table. They may try it. I don't think it's going to succeed.
So the question now is whether there will be more charges, whether anyone else will be charged, and people are talking about this, group on Discord that he was talking to. Right. But what about the roommate? He had quite a text conversation with the roommate, and the roommate, acted surprised, didn't realize that it was him. But what did you take away from the text messages?
Right. So from the press conference we got yesterday, two things jumped out at me relative to the roommate. First of all, the fact that he says to the roommate, destroy the note, and then the prosecutor said in the press conference, we have a photograph of the note, not the note itself, which argues to me very good chance that the roommate did destroy the note, which is potentially chargeable. The other thing was this conversation about you saw me engraving the bullets. Now, while it does seem that the roommate appears to be shocked, is that a little bit on the nose? Is it a little contrived? Is it a little too perfect, some of the exchange they have? There's some suggestion of that online. Those are people just speculating. But the fact that he knew that his roommate was engraving bullets argues that that's a callback to Mangione, which obviously was done for no good purpose. So those things suggest to me maybe the roommate could be in the hot box, but the thing is this, that doesn't mean you have to charge that person. And in fact, it seems like the investigators have the roommate working for them. They got that person right where they want them, and they want to keep them that way because you can do all the forensics in the world, computers, phones, surveillance, all of that stuff. To have somebody who was living with the accused, for an investigator, that's gold.
Yeah. It was not said yesterday, but it's been reported that the accused has logged 2,100 hours online, either gaming or talking in Discord or other apps. Here's the DA on the radicalization as they see it based on his parents and what they have said so far.
Under Utah law, the death penalty is not something that is required for all murders, but if there are certain aggravators, then it qualifies for the death penalty. And in this case, in the murder of Charlie Kirk, he put others at great risk of death. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views.
So, Paul, we don't know what was going on online and what level of impact that had in warping his mind. Hugh Hewitt just filed a piece. It said it's time to study what the internet has done to young people. He calls it the Kirk Commission. To understand what's happening with Gen Z and whatever generation comes after that. And maybe ultimately this is where it's going. You've looked at this. What sort of commentary do you think is relevant at this stage, a week later?
So this is difficult. We had this very much in the terrorism world when I was working terrorism cases. We used to call it loser to lion, and ISIS particularly.
You used to call it what?
Loser to lion. ISIS was particularly adept at finding people who were leading sort of slipping down lives, who were looking around for an identity, to get into that mindset, to catfish them, and to incite them into doing something violent, however low level. Here, pick up a gun, pick up a knife, pick up a bat, charge a police officer, give them purpose. And that made them a lion for Islam, right? Now, it was a pure act of weaponization, and it's a very low-level operation. It's very easy. What you're looking for is that cognitive aperture. You're looking for the opening in the person's psyche where you can drill in there and change their mindset into something that's more glorious for them. That was during the terrorism world. This paradigm feels very, very similar. It's very, very tough to guard against. There's so many encrypted apps. Generally, what it really comes down to is the people who are closest, family, friends, primarily family, because after one of these events, they always say, Upon doing the interviews, I saw him going down a bad path, but I didn't think it would be anything like this. This commission is important to sensitize people, but as far as stopping it, dead in a First Amendment society.
It's a really important topic here. And Aisha and I were having a lot of discussions with our colleagues, and they're young mothers, and they're raising sons who are age 9 and age 10, and they deal with this on a daily basis.
Right.
And if they're dealing with it, millions and millions of parents across
All
the
the
country
families are.
And
confronting
one
it too.
last point, coming out of COVID, we had entire generations who their only outlet was online. We're fighting that as well.
Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Talk a bit later,
Paul.
okay?
Yes.
Good to see you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.